It's showtime.
What's up, good people, and welcome to the Frank Harris Show, the biggest, the best, the baddest, and the most provocative show on earth. Guys, we keep on growing. The subscribers are growing. Please continue to like, subscribe, and show love. And as you know, in my intro, I say provocative. And today I'm going to talk about something that's provocative, that could be controversial. And I want to kick it off. And I would love to get your thoughts, your comments, your opinions as well. The question of the day is, do black athletes or do black athletes have a responsibility in their professional lives to hire black representatives on some level, whether it be lawyer, whether it be um, agent, whether it be manager, black entertainers? I mean, we can even expand it to music, sports, and music. Is there an obligation there? Okay. I'm going to just talk about it in general. All right. You look at a guy like LeBron James. Let's kick it off for LeBron. LeBron James, to me, has consciously surrounded himself with black excellence. Okay. His agent, Rich Paul, is black. And by him allowing Rich Paul to represent him, Rich Paul now has been able to build an extremely successful agency, probably the most powerful and influential agency in basketball. And so, his other partner is Maverick Carter, who I think is another one of his guys that he grew up with, and he's his business partner, and he kind of executive produces a lot of his ventures outside of sports. Okay, then you look at people like Serena Williams, who is obviously GOAT, tremendous tennis player, and seemingly all of her reps, people that represent her, are white. All right, so she has white representatives. Okay, you see a lot of NFL players, a lot of players in general in sports. I think less in basketball because I think and by the way, it's getting better in football too, but less in basketball. I think there are more black basketball agents. Bill Duffy is a huge basketball agent, influential. I talked about Rich Paul. So in basketball, it seems to be agents that are very, very influential that move the meter. In football, there are definitely some that's growing. Baseball, not very many, obviously. But do people like Serena, for instance? Two players I want to ask about, two athletes, Serena and Tiger. Let me tell you why I want to talk about those two, because so much of what they represented in a white sport, they represented, we're black. We come from Serena and Venus came from the inner city, Compton, being black players in a predominantly white sport. Same with Tiger and golf. That was sort of their mantra. That's something that they hung their hat on. That's something that they really, really, really tried to utilize in their favor as they ascended their sport, right? And so if you use I'm black in this white world, and you benefit from that, do you then owe or have some responsibility to then hire some black people, whether it be agents or whether it be, again, managers, etc.? Because ultimately, those are predominantly white sports, and there are not a lot of black agents and black managers. But like LeBron did with Rich Paul, if Serena decides to hire a black manager, a black agent, or what have you, that would allow this black agent now to grow business and now become a force within the tennis world. And same with Tiger within the golf ecosystem, right? So, and this is a complicated dynamic because golf and tennis are predominantly white sports in a sense, right? So because those sports are so predominantly white, there are not a lot of people, black players, number one, and also black professionals representing people in those sports. Whereas in basketball and football, those sports are a little bit black, basketball especially predominantly black. And so you have more black representatives and people at the executive level in that sport. So it's an interesting topic, right? Or should people have their own whatever it is, right? Like, if I'm Serena and I want to hire a bunch of white people to represent me, that's my business. If I'm Tiger Woods, I want to do that because I think that's first in class, and I believe I want to hire who I want to hire. Um, does it also, again, this is a super, super complicated dynamic. And does it also have some relation to, in our communities, what we feel is best, right? In Black communities, quite often, white is right. People think, parents or what have you. And so it's just interesting, right? They want white lawyers or white managers because they feel like there's some level of like validation when you have that potentially. And so it's an interesting topic. And then, somebody, as I was talking about this topic, was saying, well, should that extend to their personal lives, right? There's like a Black athlete should have a Black wife. And I'm not getting into all of that, right? Like, I think a person dates who they want to date. That's their business, whatever. But professionally, right, is there an obligation? Same thing on the music side. You talk about music and entertainment, and you talk about some of the biggest artists in the game, right? And a lot of them have white managers, right? White agents, etc. And so a lot of rappers, right? Your favorite rapper, a lot of them have that sort of management. And you wonder when people utilize the inner city and being Black as something that they wear on their sleeve, but then they don't want to go get money, right, with Black people or allow Black people the opportunity, right, to mutually benefit because they are. And then some people would argue that the more qualified people in these spaces are white, right? Because ultimately they've had a head start in terms of the opportunity. So you can argue the more successful lawyers are white. In a sense, you can say the more successful managers are, right? And so historically, in music, for instance, historically, people would argue that white managers and people say have exploited Black artists for years. People would make that argument. There's an exploitation piece. Do you think these white agents and representatives care about you or just look at you as a commodity, as a piece of meat, etc.? So these are all arguments on all sides. It's an interesting conversation because by hiring someone Black in a power position, and again, I keep using the LeBron Rich Paul situation, it empowers that Black individual to now go on and build more business and to become a force in that sport, right? Or in the music industry or whatever the entertainment realm is, in the acting realm, right? In all of entertainment, whether it be film and TV, whether it be music, whether it be sports, it allows for growth, And by the way, it's another layer. Proportionately, okay, you look at the amount of Blacks to the amount of whites in America, obviously, or in the world, obviously, there are more whites than Blacks. So obviously, there's a proportionate element to this situation too, right? In terms of the disproportionate amount of Blacks compared to whites, but there's also a disproportionate amount of more Blacks in sports, in some sports, than whites. So anyway, it's a very, very interesting and controversial topic. I'm actually going to expand this, and I'm going to bring somebody on to talk, I guess, a bit deeper about this because I think it's a fascinating conversation, right? Where on one side you have, hey, people who say, if I'm Serena Williams, I should be able to hire whoever I want to hire, and if I feel like these white people are first in class, it's my prerogative to hire them. I'm colorblind. I want to hire who I feel is first in class and who I feel can elevate my brand to the highest level. There are people on the other side of the fence who say, yes, but there are very qualified and smart Black individuals that can similarly elevate your brand. Maybe they don't have the same cachet per se as this white agent or white manager or white lawyer over here, but given the opportunity, they could elevate you to equal or even potentially more success. And again, I go back to LeBron James, Rich Paul. Rich Paul has elevated to being probably the most influential basketball agent in the game. So it goes both ways. And then again, give me your thoughts. Does it become a bit more complicated when a player utilizes the Black platform to his or her advantage? Being Black, being from Compton, being from the hood, black, 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 being the first black to do this. I'm black, black, black. And then after I make it, then I forget about that. Right. And then I surround myself with only white people. Right. And I'm no longer a part of that narrative. So anyway, love to get your thoughts, your comments, or what have you. Complicated topic. Let me know your thoughts. All right. Love. Appreciate it. Comment. Again, keep subscribing. The numbers keep going up. And we're going to just keep elevating, keep growing, and keep showing love. All right. Love.